I just dropped Davu off at the airport. Let me tell you, my family moved into this house 7.5 years ago. Nearly 8 years ago, actually. We moved in 2009 in the summer. My whole family. I had just graduated high school. My brother Victor would still be there for another couple of years. My brother Shade would eventually go to the same high school for all 4 years he was there. I had a lot of friends at the time, mostly who I knew from high school. They would come over all the time. So I had, this room where there was a giant TV up here covering this whole section up there. And there were these leather couches in here. And that's where my dad sat. That's where my mom sat. And they sat here all the time and watched TV. In another room where Victor, lived, our friends would come over all the time and hang out. Like, all the time. A couple of them would be here basically every day. All of them would be here basically every weekend. We're talking like up to 6 people regularly. Few friends we had fallings out with. They stopped showing up. Me and Victor kept getting more and more busy. Me and my brother Victor, after he graduated high school, went to college for 4 years, eventually graduated college, and after college, he was just always working, always looking for work or working. He got a girlfriend, spent a lot of time with her, stopped being around as much. So our friends, some of them would come over all the time just to hang out in Victor's room. Like, they just come over out of habit. Our house was the hangout spot. We had a big ass house. It was a good place to hang. But Victor was less and less around, and I've always been a workaholic. My friends would see me when I popped into the room, sort of, but I was never one to stick around much. And I didn't take up a lot of the same interests they had. They all got really into fighting games and stuff, and I never wanted any part of it. I just wanted to do my own thing, get my work done, Ever since my YouTube channel started, I pretty much have just been worried about making videos, making content, making stuff for the internet, So I didn't spend a lot of time with those friends. Some of them started to fade away. They just weren't coming over as much because there was really nothing going on here, People were coming over just to do stuff that they would have done at anybody's house. It didn't matter that it was ours. And so eventually they did that. I moved in, Ben Saint and the Davu. My parents left. We built a studio in here. We thought we were going to use it for all kinds of shit. We really only used it twice for each of the RadCon events where we invited all my online friends to come over and hang out. We thought maybe that eventually all of our online friends would move around into this area. We'd start up the headquarters of our future endeavors together. But eventually we realized this was not the place to do that. This was not the place for the headquarters. We should do it somewhere else. But then as plans for that started to materialize, a lot of our friends online weren't ready yet. They didn't really have a place. They didn't really have the means to leave where they were just yet. And we didn't necessarily want to stay here. So when this all happened, when my parents left, they stopped being around. It was just me, Victor, Ben Davu, my brother Shade, and his girlfriend Amber. Now they have a room on the other side of the house that they never leave. They set it up so that they wouldn't have to. They built their own kitchen. They put together all their own stuff so that they'd never have to leave their room. Both of them work pretty consistently, long hours, so I don't see them. All my friends, they stopped coming over. I have a couple of friends I literally have not seen since the day that Ben and Devu moved in during RadCon 1. I literally haven't seen them since. Some I've seen maybe once or twice. A couple of them kept coming for a while. We had moved all the furniture from the other room into here, thinking this would be a hangout spot, but no one ever hung out in here. Except for during RadCon. We'd build our base in here. This initially was where Devu had his computer for his workbench. I thought I would sit behind him and watch him work all the time, but I didn't end up doing that. Eventually he moved his workstation back into his room. So all my friends stopped coming over. So the only friends I had were Ben and Devu, which is fine. Both great guys. And I also had Victor, but Victor kept coming less and less, spending more and more time at his girlfriend's house. This was his room for that amount of time. As you can see, it's been cleared out. He moved in with his girlfriend about a month ago. Loves it there. So I stopped seeing him as much. So I had Ben and Devu. Now Ben was in here. And around 4 or 5 months ago, Ben started dating a girl who lives in Georgia. So he started taking trips to Georgia pretty regularly. He'd go down there for 2 weeks by bus, come back. So I started seeing Ben less and less. We'd hang out a lot when he was here, because we both smoked. So we'd stand around on the back porch out there and smoke cigarettes together. But he's gone now. Now, even with Ben gone, Devu was almost always around. Didn't like to go out much, partly because he didn't like to spend money, partly because he liked to be at home to work. But we'd meet up all the time in the kitchen, or he'd come outside while I was smoking. We'd get into long, detailed conversations, analytical stuff. In the time that everybody started leaving, we spent a lot more time together. At first, it was hard to get into the groove of Devu's eccentricities. When he first moved in, we butted heads a lot more. But I sort of got used to it. I think the fact that he knew he was leaving kind of took the edge off of some of our interactions, because he didn't have to try to bend the house to be more like what he hoped it would be. He knew he was leaving, so whatever, it didn't matter anymore. Or maybe it's me who felt that way. I don't know. That's where Shade and Amber live, down there. So now, all my friends are gone. My old friends, who I haven't seen in 6 months, almost 8 months. My new friends are gone. My brother is gone. I've got this whole fucking place to myself. Here's the set. Taken apart. Huge mess. We'd never clean up around here. So, with everyone I know, gone. The question is, what the hell am I still doing here? I've been living in this room for nearly 8 years. It's been rearranged so many times that it doesn't even resemble what it was when I moved in. It's a clusterfuck. It's a huge mess. It's full of bullshit. And I have no incentive to be here anymore. As much as I love this room, as perfect as this room is for my job, there's just no reason to be in Virginia Beach. I don't have any friends anymore. My house is way too big for me. And worst of all, my parents are moving back in. So, I'd say it's about time I hit the road and found some new fucking friends. Or met up with all my old ones wherever the hell they went. I'm gonna travel this fucking country. I'm gonna go and see Devu in his hometown. I'll see Ben in Atlanta. I'll see Nate, the best guy ever, out in Ohio. I'll see Endless Jess up in Michigan. I might leave the country to go see Hypocrite out in England. I might go to North Carolina, see Monkey Jones. Go all the way up to Massachusetts, hang out with Tommy Oliver. I'll go everywhere. I'll see everybody. I'll hang out with all my internet friends. Blind Skywatcher up in Portland. Munchie out in California and San Diego. One day I'm going to kidnap that boy, take him with me. He's going to become my protege. I swear on my honor. And I just know I don't want to spend too much longer alone in a place like this. Because this is the kind of void that will consume you.